Yes, of course, it goes without saying that there are a handful of Muslim businesses. We wish there were much more. There's only a handful of halal businesses. We definitely need to support them as well in their efforts, and they've been doing this much longer than these other companies. So, alhamdulillah, one of the few halal entertainments we have over here is to take the family out for a meal. And so, inshallah, once every while, whoever can afford it should, patronize all of these, establishments and help them out, inshallah ta'ala. Yes.
Zubair ibn Awam has a halal. Who were the other halalis?
No, we only have one name mentioned. Yes.
You mentioned about the same subject a while back, that you guys are going to form a committee to go and actually not only promote but also guard.
The idea is still there. The brother's asking about forming a halal monitoring committee to make sure that the stores are selling halal. The idea is still there, but there are some logistical issues that are not easy to solve. And there's also the potential backlash when we discover somebody's not selling halal, then we advertise he's not selling halal, then what if he goes to court, what if he, it's like slandering now. This is a very touchy thing. The idea is there, but we need to cross some hurdles before we get to it. Right, inshallah.
This guy has the receipt from a local halal.
Yes, from Barakah. Yeah, the Mulan Bistro guy is buying it from his neighbor, the Barakah store, and he has the receipt posted that he purchased it from them. Inshallah. Okay, any questions from the sisters? Yes. Very, very softly, can you raise your voice? I can hear you now, yes. The Prophet ﷺ told us very explicitly that the reason that they should not be killed is because they were forced to come to battle and they didn't want to come to battle. And that is why all of them surrendered without killing anybody. They didn't kill anybody. Abbas did not kill anybody. They simply, their first opportunity, they surrendered. They had especially close ties. This is their cousin, this is their nephew in the case of Abbas. That's the only uncle of the Prophet that participated. So they did not want to fight, and therefore they surrendered at the first opportunity. Okay. Defectors, yes, from the Quraysh. Yes. We're going to talk about this next Wednesday. Was he a Muslim or not? We'll talk about this next Wednesday, inshaAllah ta'ala. Next Wednesday. Yes.
I'm trying to figure out.
You're trying to figure out the question?
Yes.
Good, okay. Okay, yes.
Intervention or aid of angels in the presence of messengers. Is that possible after the messengers? Can it happen in other circumstances?
Can angels aid others after the Prophet ﷺ? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتُ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ مِنْ أَمْرِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ يَحْفَظُونَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. This is in the Quran. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتُ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ يَحْفَظُونَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. That he has guardians in front of him and behind him that are protecting him at the command of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is for the believers, all of the believers. It not only can it happen, it happens all the time.
When they feel like, probably I can say.
Yes, it is very possible. Yes, exactly. This is very possible. That when we see a miracle take place, sometimes it is a miracle. Yes, exactly.
Confrontation in a battle situation.
Yes, in a battle situation as well. And there are mutawatir reports from people that, in the days of Afghanistan now, you all are older than I am. I remember stories from those who had gone there. You also, eyewitnesses, people that have gone there and then told us things that are simply mind-boggling. That this is the realities. And I believe many of these stories, and the people that told me them witnessed them, and I know these people. So yes, this is still to this day. It can happen. It can happen. I'm sure in Syria there is no question in my mind. I'm sure that there are things happening in Syria, and there are, again, it's mutawatir, and there's no denying that people are experiencing these types of divine aids and interventions, and Allah knows best. Final question. Yes, go ahead.
You had said that two two people wanted to kill Abu Jahl, and then later on, Prophet ﷺ, he sent out some people to go look for him.
For the corpse, yeah.
Yeah. But the person who found him actually killed him.
So as we said, the person who found him was, who was he? Ibn Mas'ud. Ibn Mas'ud dealt the blow that killed him, but he was going to die. So there's something called a mortal wound. A mortal wound means the wound is so severe that he's going to die. Abu Jahl was found in a state where he was on the verge of death. If Ibn Mas'ud had not found him, he probably would have lived another half hour. Right? So he's breathing heavily. And he's at a stage where it's beyond saving now. That there's no question he's going to die. Therefore, yes, you're right, Ibn Mas'ud killed him, but it wasn't a mortal wound. He finished him off. He just finished the deed. He expedited the end death. Right?
Some died with him.
La, Ikrimah is a Sahabi. Aslahak Allah. Ikrimah is one of the elite of the Sahaba. Ikrimah. He was one of those who, when the Prophet ﷺ conquered Mecca, Ikrimah was on the list of those 6 who will not be forgiven. 6 people were said. Only 6. Find them dead or alive and kill them. One of them, they found him clinging to the Kaaba for mercy. The Prophet said, kill him even at the Kaaba. So his name was on that 6. So Ikrimah fled. Before the Muslims came, he fled. Ikrimah fled. Ikrimah, he did so much in the battle of Uhud. He did so much, and he was the son of his father before he converted. So Ikrimah fled. And then when he fled, he went to Jeddah. And from Jeddah he said, let me just go to Abyssinia, khalas. Because he knew once Makkah is conquered, it's the final domino. The rest is just going to happen. So he goes, let me just live in Abyssinia, Habasha. So he rode a ship to go to Abyssinia. And on the ship, Allah Azza wa Jal basically sent a thunderstorm. Not a thunderstorm, but a typhoon, or whatever you call it, in the ocean. And the ship was about to crash. And the captain of the ship said that I've done what I can, nothing I can do. So right now, the only hope that we have is a miracle from Allah. So make dua to Allah. For wallahi, you and I both know that Al-Lat and Al-Uzza will be of no benefit to us now. Right? This is the captain of the ship. So he said that, Ikrimah said that, when I heard this, I realized, why should I worship Al-Lat when I get back to the shore, when he's not going to help me when I need him now? SubhanAllah, what this shows us is that many of the pagans were sincere in their paganism. Of them was Ikrimah. Right? That he genuinely believed in shirk. And finally, somewhere that light bulb clicked, that it makes sense. So he said, oh Allah, I promise you that if you save me now, that I shall go to your messenger, and I shall put my hand in his hand, which is the oath of allegiance, and I shall find him forgiving and merciful. He even knew this, even though his name was on the 6. And I shall find him forgiving and merciful. So Allah Azza wa Jalla saved him. He got back to the shore, and he went to the Prophet. At this time was in Tabuk. So after the conquest of Mecca, he moves on to Tabuk. We'll get to that. So he went to the camp, and he knew there was a price on his head, dead or alive. That was basically the point. So he took his turban and he covered himself, muqanna', they say, they covered himself completely. You know how they covered themselves completely, so nobody recognized him. And it's a risk, because if somebody recognizes him, his head is going to be off instantaneously, right? And there's nobody that can help him. So he goes into the tent, or the mu'askar, or the army of the Muslims, and he makes his way to the Prophet ﷺ. When he is within distance of him, because that's the one person basically that can forgive him, right? He then unfurls the turban, and he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu annaka la rasulullah. What happened, ya Ikrimah? Like, whoa, from here to there. Then he explains his story, right? And when he explains the story, then hasuna Islamu, his Islam became very good, and he died, I want to say, fighting against the Romans. He died in one of those big battles, fighting against the Romans. Ikrimah, he lived a good life after that. This is Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, the son of Abu Jahl. Our young brother has his hand raised for a long time. This is our last question that we need to... Why did Hamza die? He didn't die yet. Be patient. His death will come. Huh? His death will come, but not in the Battle of Badr. Okay. Inshallah. So we...